Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. I'm here with Ona. Hello, Ona.
Happy Halloween.
We're here on Halloween, All Hallows Eve, to do the new moon in Scorpio. Moon Shadows episode. Perfect name for a Scorpio new moon, I think. Moon Shadows.
Yeah.
And I just want everybody to know Ona and I did not discuss what we were wearing today or what color hair we might have. So
Good morning.
there you go.
I had
And
a window. I had a window of opportunity. I'm like, I'm gonna do my hair, and I buy what's on sale, and sometimes it varies. And it just went Merlot, which has been like the crazy sort of vibe. And you have this Merlot shirt on. I'm like, what?
yeah, she's been getting, as Ona gets the synesthesia and impressions. And what you said as soon as you said the word new moon in Scorpio,
Yeah, yeah.
that was
During
the first thing that came to mind.
during Tuesday night's astrology thing, I'm like, because I had because I don't have enough stimulation. I had the TV on in the background and Kamala's on. It's muted, but
Right.
I'm just like, what might be happening there? And Merlot. I'm like, does she drink? Is she
I
like,
think, well, she's from San Francisco, so I would guess she doesn't just drink, but she drinks good stuff.
she might be living there or something? And then I look back, I voted that day. And I realized that was the name of the branch of the library. And I'm like, oh, that's got to be it. Let me see if the pattern arises from this.
Yep.
And it's just popping up all over the place. And I don't even drink, but that's the flavor of this new moon.
Yes, yes. And because of the Merlot, we did a little research before that doesn't mean we drank it. So I just want to be clear about that. It's pretty early still. Um, yeah, and I have a coffee from Honeydew. My Honeydew brought it home for me.
Oh, nice.
Um, but so I said, oh, Merlot, that's a kind of wine. I said, well, why don't we look up Dionysus? Dionysus is an asteroid, the goddess of wine, the god of wine, right? And in fact, the whole Eucharist, that whole like the whole thing we do in church is for the Eucharist, eating the body and drinking the blood of Christ is actually a Dionysian mystery. It's from a Greek mystery school. And it was Saul who became Paul after he was illuminated on the road to Damascus, right? He was actually a Greek mystic. And a lot of his letters and stuff was sort of interweaving the whole Jesus thing with that yeah. So anyway, I looked up Dionysus, and Dionysus, I got off on a tangent, so you'll have to excuse me. Dionysus is at a, did I say 16 degrees of Cancer today?
Yeah.
The
Yes.
asteroid Dionysus is at 16 degrees of Cancer. And it's actually, now we have Mars in Cancer, but it's too far away to be conjunct. But it is trine Saturn and the Sun, which are trine each other. And at the time of the new, and we'll see it in the new moon thing. We won't see Dionysus because I didn't put that in there. But we will see that there is a trine between the Sun and Saturn anyway. And the Sun is the center and Saturn is the edge of the known three-dimensional uh, level of awareness. And then past Saturn, we have the transpersonals, which is more of a galactic energy. So there is this sense of like things coming to their normal end with this, with just those kinds of things that came up as we were sitting here for a couple of days mulling over what we were going to say here. Do you want to share anything, Ona, about?
And Pluto and Saturn. Pluto's like at the end of Saturn,
That's right, at the end of Capricorn.
one of the rulers of the new moon, opposing Mars in Cancer, one of the other rulers of the new moon.
Yeah.
So
And Cancer Capricorn deals with family,
yeah,
deals with family. So there may be an end in it's for some of us in the family. You might hear
My family pool is definitely teetering on this axis right now. We've had, and I think, the other asteroid would be Algol. I've had two aunts have had two head injuries on the same day.
Well, Uranus is still conjunct Algol. Yeah,
And the outcome is still uncertain.
that's right.
It's been really, and I don't know if it's related to the Scorpio new moon, but very much that ancestral energy sort of feeding the narrative,
Yeah,
channeling.
I think along with Pluto and Capricorn and Mars and Cancer, it's like a whole thing, I think. Yeah,
So very intense new moon.
yeah. All right, why don't we take a look at it? Now I just have to find where I have it. Oh yeah, and so the new moon's happening on the 1st, and um the vibration of that day is the Fool, the 22.
Is it the 2204? Yeah, tomorrow's Judgment Day. Tomorrow. No.
No, it's 22, no? It's 12 and 8. Oh, it's 20, it's right. Oh
It's
wow, I made a mistake. It's 20.
Yeah, Saturday is World Day and Sunday's the Fool. So the vibe is Judgment Day. I mean, and that's from the Tarot, and that you could go down that rabbit hole,
Oh, goodness gracious.
right?
I'm fixing my day here. Thank you.
I also I like the Judgment in that it's sort of a wake up call kind of thing. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily
Doo, 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 doo.
so
Right?
depicted in the graveyard and people rising from it. It's not a bad card. It's just a sort of a wake up call kind of thing. Unlike the tower that's just slips out from under you
Yeah.
kind of day.
Yeah. Well, that vibration, that 20/2, is the 2, which is sensitivity with the 0, which brings up the energy of that. So it sort of potentiates the 2. And
Yeah.
so in a 20/2, we're real sensitive. And it's happening like on All Saints Day. Today is All Souls Day. This is a natural time of where the veil is the thinnest at this time. So if anybody out there has somebody close to them, this is, who might be close to the veil. This is a natural time for release with that. And that's sort of Scorpio energy. It's like what we talk about with Scorpio.
Yeah.
Right? Scorpio is in the tarot is the death card.
Mm.
And it's about death, but it's never just about death. It's about rebirth.
Yeah.
So it's a change. It's a change, and so we can expect change. This new moon at 10 degrees of Scorpio, the Sabian symbol, a fellowship supper. Group activity generates a deep sense of belonging and willingness to help others and join in with their ups and downs. There's an energy, I think, with this new moon, this time, as we're sort of on the precipice of seeing what at least the next 4 years is going to look like for us here in the United States. So we're at this sort of place where the change is imminent, and
Mhm.
yet we're not really sure what's on the other side of that. Right? Somebody is going to be the victor, and whoever that may be, there's going to be consequences from both sides. And so we're going to have to figure out how to work within that, or find a way to work our magic despite that,
It's like, everybody is very, very concerned about the chaos that we're expecting. But I also remind people that, you know, it's like we know what can happen. So we put up the baby gates and the baby locks and the toilet seat lock. Like we understand better how we can intercept, control, undermine, surveil all these things that we're worried about on that day. We're better at it.
So the interesting thing, which you mentioned a little while ago when we first got on, is that the co-rulers are opposite each other, right? The co-rulers are opposite each other. We have Pluto at the last degree of Capricorn. Pluto is going to be out of Capricorn for good, pretty much, for us anyway, on the 19th of November. And we have Venus at the last degree of Cancer. Now, the interesting thing about these degrees was that this was the degree of the full moon that happened on the 21st of July. That was the full moon that Biden stepped down,
Right.
right?
So this
It
is
was at
highlighting it.
these degrees.
This is like highlighting that full
Well,
moon.
yeah, it's like the full moon and now Pluto and Mars on that full moon. So in a way, it's going to show us perhaps whether that was a good decision or not, right? When you think about it, right? It's like the soul is acting because Pluto is the soul, is the world
Yeah.
soul, and Mars is the world soul expresses its desires through Mars, and Mars is in the last degree of a sign that's associated with the mother, Kamala. Mamala Kamala, President Mamala.
No, I can't wait. I thought I was going to be very emotional when I was like voting. And that was another reason why I voted early because I didn't want to go to work looking like I had been crying. So I voted early. But I was not emotional. I just felt like, you know, really strong.
And released, right? Really, you did it. You
Yeah.
showed the thing about, the thing about voting is that it's you're sort of planting your flag. You're putting your intention out there, right?
Yeah.
Your intention, whoever you choose, you're putting out your intention. You're sort of planting your flag. And I think that's important. I think when you're like, like, oh, my vote's not going to matter, blah, blah, blah. I think you should, stand in and stand up for the choice you make, right? So I think voting is
I committed
a
enough time.
privilege.
Yeah. I committed enough time that if somebody was in a time crunch and they were like at a work break or lunch break or something like that, and they started looking at the line, I'm like, are you pressed for time? I would let them in front of me.
Right.
I held space for anybody that needed to get there. And it was worth it.
So let's just look at the saving symbols for these. These will sound familiar for people who follow me because I do the saving symbols for everything, it seems. So we have so the co-rulers oppose each other in the last degrees of the sign of Cancer, Mars, and Pluto. And its last opposition, and this is actually Mars's last opposition to Pluto for another 200 and some odd years, because to Pluto in Capricorn. That's what I want to say. Now, Pluto's been in Capricorn since 2008. And so every time Mars made a conjunction or an opposition, right, it was making the conjunction in Capricorn and opposing it in Cancer. And so in a way that Mars Pluto energy was sort of putting out the Cancer energy, right? Like it started in the Capricorn energy, came out in the Cancer energy. And now when Pluto goes into Aquarius, it's going to be Aquarius and then Leo,
Yeah.
which is interesting, which is a whole different um energy.
I'm happy about this. Is the last time Mars is going to oppose Pluto and Capricorn. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
And I will write a song and bake a cake and light a candle or do whatever I gotta do to like thank it for what it taught you and, see you in the next 200 years.
Right. Well, speaking as a Capricorn for you and a Cancer for me, this Pluto in Capricorn was a very personal experience. Very personal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, now let's see. So this is the same degree. Oh, I don't have the Sabian symbols for the degrees. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say suck, right? Oh, actually, I do have the Sabian symbols for those degrees. Let me get to it. Hold on 1 minute here. So on Sunday, oh, that's why I had that. On Sunday, Mars opposes Pluto exactly, right? So, but they're both at 30 degrees. So Pluto at 30, a secret business meeting, opposing tradition. Conservative elements in society have the function of holding on to whatever excellent and especial from the past, respecting tradition. And then the Pluto at 30 degrees is that symbol that the secret business meeting of the people who make all the decisions for the world, and how there's a dark side and a light side. And the
Yeah.
dark side wants us to stay in bondage, and the light side wants us to be free.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because the whole energy of the presidential election is between freedom and bondage. And so we're choosing.
Yep. Yeah.
Right. Let me just I'm going to go back to that chart
And
to just show the kite, right? We have this giant kite. Now we have the two rulers here in opposition to each other. And we have Mars trine Mercury. Now this Mercury at 28 degrees of Scorpio is it close to anything in Kamala's chart? I don't think so. She does have Mercury in Scorpio, but it's like at 1 degree of Scorpio or 2 degrees of Scorpio. We have Mars trine Neptune. We have Neptune sextile Pluto. We have Pluto sextile Mercury. And then over here, we actually have Uranus as part of this because it's sextiling Neptune. It's opposing Mercury. And if we were to widen it out, we could say it's sextiling here, but it's a little wide for a sextile. So we have the planet of the mind, Mercury, the planet of action, Mars, and the three transpersonal planets whose function is to expand our consciousness. So this new moon is an opportunity for us also to continue to expand our consciousness.
yeah.
And of course, Scorpio is about reinvention as well. So here's an opportunity to reinvent yourself.
This is an intense guy. This is an intense guy.
Well, we are living in intense and interesting times, are we not?
I don't know if I'm gonna make it till Tuesday. I don't know. It is that intense, really. Maybe it's just the Halloween energy, the very very quick, sharp drop in temperature in a short time. That puts my nerves on end too, but it's just a very interesting time to be under the skies of this new moon, you know? And my porcupine energy, I do refer to the cards that I pull on Time Out with Giblets. And I think about that, just float along the surface and let the turbulent water underneath you do what it's gonna do.
Because it's
But
going to do what it's going to do anyway.
it's gonna
Why
do,
drown in it, right? Why
yeah,
drown?
yeah, you can't. Porcupines have their quills are all full of air and they just glide along the surface.
Well, you said you didn't feel that much when after you voted. You thought you were going to feel, you were going to get emotional, right?
Yeah,
So you're just gliding over the surface.
yeah. I was actually, I took a picture of the screen and I didn't know if you could. So my heart was racing. And I'm like, nobody saw me do that. And I finished the ballot and I'm like, maybe I got away with it, but I took a picture of it.
Yeah.
So it was just very intense. It was intense. It was a lot. It was a long, hot day, but um, yeah, my expectations and my reaction were different. Yeah. I feel like we already got it. Like I've already been using like Madam President in the narrative,
Yeah.
you know.
Mama La Kamala.
Yep.
Her
Just get
name means lotus. You know that though.
I'm drinking the tea. I know I'm like really cheering her on. I really
Get
am.
it, get into your lotus, right?
Yes, I got the perfume, I got the pillow spray, whatever. Like I really like get this energy, like help me work it through, right?
So we were
Yeah.
discussing, speaking of working it through, we were discussing what crystals we would use on a altar for the Scorpio moon.
Yeah. Besides a moonstone, which is appropriate always.
Always.
That's kind of like standard thing. I almost never carry it with me because it's always on the altar, almost all the pieces I have, unless some jewelry has some
Right.
moonstone in it. I got smoky quartz, very ancestor-like with me. I don't know. I would have to go back and see if I had any other times there was a Scorpio moon and smoky quartz came up, but that is uh just like a gateway to understanding ancestral stuff. And if that's too heavy, the labradorite always helps me reel in the animal spirits. Always, 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 I see an animal in a piece of labradorite, and they're out there. We had many visits from our animals past around here.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, I would imagine, because
yeah,
it was Halloween, it's easier for them as well. I say obsidian, obsidian for, and you can scry with it. That's the other thing. If you have like an obsidian ball, you can just
yeah.
look into it and you can scry and see what you see, right?
You
See
could
what you're
shine a
hearing.
light into it from
Mhm.
underneath, and it should glow. It's glass. That's cool. I'm gonna try and do that maybe later.
So, obsidian is a protection stone and
Yeah.
it protects you from negative energies and negative entities. And, when the veil is thin and people are so upset,
Mhm.
it's easy for those, impish spirits to get in and, especially if you're impaired in any way, to get in and wreak havoc. So you definitely, even if you're going to have a glass of Merlot, which of
Oh,
course now I'm going to have to go get some Merlot. Um, I'll make sure I have my Merlot and my obsidian. Maybe, oh, you know what? Maybe on your altar, if you can, just put a little bit of wine, a little bit of red wine on the
I
altar.
have red wine vinegar.
Yeah, that's good. And
I
of
have
course,
red wine-
Dionysus was the god of wine, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I will. I'll do that for sure. That's a great idea. Absolutely. And it is, you know what? It's also that time of year when mice come into your house. So the elementals are real. Like that's a real thing. They're looking for a warm place to live. We had an invasion of little ladybug critters recently, like just all over the place because they're looking for their winter home. You know, raccoons, possums, everybody needs to snuggle. If it's going to be winter, it's elemental time.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking you might need to throw some peppermint oil around, it's good for so many things. Why not?
Yeah.
But definitely the Merlot thing. Yeah, I'll put just got that. It's just got that vibe.
Yeah. So
And
you anything else come to mind? I know you're in your family um sort of bubble of trying to navigate this time.
yeah, yeah. I just have no, honestly, I want to watch I'm like somebody who is waiting for the next contraction to happen. Right. So I'm really into where everything is moving around, and even more so things like why am I having this Merlot thing going on? You bringing up Dionysus, where it is, and how that might play into how the outcome. So it's even like hyper aware of what's going on.
Well, it's like you're in the center of the spider web and you're pulling on all your web.
I
Right?
am the only medical professional in my family. Yeah. So, you know, I take that, I take that, I take it on.
Right, 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 right. But
Yeah.
you don't get anywhere by yourself anyway. So you know what I mean? So if you can't be of service to your family, who can you be of service to?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So we'll see what happens between now and the next time we talk. The new moon is going to be intense.
Yeah, yeah, intense. Intense, but good. I think it's going to be good. It's a good, of course, you want to set your intentions on the new moon. But you don't want to necessarily limit, I think. So you can have a general direction and then maybe just add for what's highest and best for all concerned and with love, um, and peace.
A good new moon ritual for this one particularly, which is Scorpio, is a shower. You don't, it's like you don't have time to set up your whole crystal grid and do something that, takes some time. And then when you actually schedule it, you're just all alpha waves and can't relax. If you take a shower and think about those things, what I can do to just like whatever's bothering me, I'm going to open the drain now. And you're in the shower, it's active. The moon is a water sign, the sun's in a water sign. It's a good thing to do a new moon shower.
Yeah. Wow. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you for joining us. I hope you got a little something out of this. We'll be on Mystic Sisters tomorrow night on Ona's channel, Ona's Tarot. If you want to comment, you do have to subscribe to the channel so you can actually interact with us, but that's free, so it's not a big deal.
That's Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday,
November
7 Eastern, 6 Central, Mystic Sisters Live on Ona's Tarot. All right, guys. Take care. We love you.
2nd.
Namaste.